everyone, it's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry, compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of April 27th. The U.S. has resumed permitting for solar and storage on federal lands. Following President Donald Trump's return to office, the U.S. Department of the Interior suspended all permits for renewable energy on federal lands for 60 days, including leases and right-of-ways. In March, the Bureau of Land Management, or the BLM, resumed its review of solar storage and geothermal applications. However, wind approvals remain frozen pending further review. The BLM is continuing to implement the Western Solar Plan, which offers faster environmental assessment in areas that have high solar potential, have a minimum conflict with other land uses, and are close to transmission lines. Last year, the plan was widened from 6 states to 11 and from 22 million acres to 31 million acres. For comparison, fossil fuels developers currently have access to about 80 million acres of federal land. Tigo Energy announced the availability of a new off-grid solar system, a further indication that customers are increasingly opting to disconnect from the grid as access charges increase from the utilities, as well as declines in the price that's paid for energy that's net metered back to the grid. The package includes rapid shutdown, monitoring devices that attach to the panels, an inverter, a smart switch, as well as battery banks. The system also comes with lithium iron phosphate batteries, each with 9 kilowatt hours of usable energy. Up to 4 of these batteries can be installed in parallel, and the smart switch is also available with generator integration. The Minnesota Senate advanced a bill earlier this month that would sunset the state's path-breaking community solar program in 2028 and significantly reduce the financial benefits of solar owners who are served by the state's rural electric co-ops. The bill represents a stark change in energy policy from 2023 when lawmakers passed sweeping legislation that expanded the community solar program, boosted solar incentives for low-income owners, and mandated that Minnesota generate 100% of all of its electricity from carbon-free sources by the year 2040. The state bill would reduce net metering compensation for future PV systems in electric cooperative and municipal utility territories, reducing the credits that homeowners receive from retail to wholesale levels. The Senate bill does have the support of the Minnesota Rural Electric Association, which represents 50 nonprofit rural electric co-ops serving 1.7 million Minnesotans. Legislation in the Senate would also end the subscription-based solar garden program that started in 2013 and has been a model for other states. As of last year, 23 states and the District of Columbia had laws allowing community solar, according to the National Renewable Energy Labs. Montana and Ohio are among states where bills allowing community solar have passed legislative chambers this year. Minnesota ranks 4th in the country with 910.4 megawatts of community solar, and the other leaders are actually Florida, New York, and Massachusetts. The U.S. Commerce Department last Monday announced its final determinations for anti-dumping and countervailing duty investigation on solar cell imports from 4 Southeast Asian countries, setting the individual tariff rates on some of these to more than 3,400% for 4 Cambodian exporters. The Commerce Department in 2023 found that manufacturers had shifted their operations to these 4 nations, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, to dodge tariffs on Chinese-made solar components. They ruled that punitive tariffs would be enforced against these companies, and those rates were announced last week. Chinese solar manufacturer Jinko Solar is now subject to over 38% additional tariff for panels made in Malaysia and a 126% dumping rate for panels made in Vietnam. Additional rates for panels made in Thailand can go as high as just almost 800%, While rates for panels from Vietnam are going to increase by a little over 542%, the average countervailing duty rate that was announced increased by 600%. Industry analysts noted, however, that solar panel imports from those 4 countries named in the suits have declined markedly since the beginning of the year, and that by shifting source nations and increasing inventories in anticipation of these tariffs, it's expected that the impact from the increased tariffs will not be felt by the industry until sometime in 2026. And that is the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.